I'm Jackie Dunne. I'm currently Director of Distance Education at the University of Leicester, and I first came into contact with Lord Attenborough 10 or so years ago in my role then as Director of Lifelong Learning at the university, and knew that of his previous involvement in the centre, in that he had helped and led the fundraising campaign that set this centre up in the first place. But I guess I didn't quite know at that point what involvement he had in the centre, whether he was a figurehead or really very involved. And so I remember going along to the first meeting, and he was definitely there. And I came to find out after that he always came to board meetings. But I remember meeting him for the first time and obviously didn't know him. There were several people in the room when I walked in. And the first thing he did was to come over, introduce himself to me, give me a massive hug. And it was, you know, to meet this great icon and legend really, who just came over and treated you like, you know, a friend or a normal person, was quite surreal really. He then went on to hold my hand under the table for the duration of the whole board meeting, and I think that says a lot about his personality. One of the things that always surprised me about him was the way he always found time to come and support the centre. He wasn't just doing it as a token thing. He cared passionately about the values that we ran the centre under, the whole kind of area of widening participation, of arts and inclusivity and all of those things. He really cared about it. And he didn't just come to meetings to sit there and kind of see the time out. He was always keen to try and find a way to help us practically, and sometimes that was helping us to fundraise for a particular activity or item. Sometimes he would introduce us to contacts and friends of his that could work with us and help us in different ways. And generally, his passion and his enthusiasm really just inspired everyone around him and the rest of us to try and do everything we could to move the centre forward. So I was always very surprised at how committed he was and how much time, despite his busy life, clearly, he managed to give to us. And that was fantastic, and is partly what's made the centre Embrace Arts what it is today. I particularly remember one occasion actually going down to his house for lunch to have a meeting and to meet with him and catch up on things at the centre. And it was around about the time when he was planning to donate his Picasso ceramics collection to the city of Leicester, to Newark Museum. And I remember going down to his house and going in, and we were shown in, and we were introduced to the curator who was in the house at the time, sorting out the collection ready for it to be transported to Leicester. And again, it was a very surreal experience, because I found myself walking through the corridors of the house, stepping in and out of all these pieces of Picasso ceramics. And you kind of think, wow, this is quite unreal really. And just, you know, to be kind of welcomed into somebody's home like that. And that's very much how Richard is. He's always so warm and engaging and makes people feel comfortable, at their ease, whoever they are, and makes you feel as though really you are, you know, very important to him. He always used to make me laugh as well, because after I'd known him for a little while, he would always turn up at meetings and refer to me as boss, which was clearly, you know, silly, wasn't it? But you know, it was just something that always made me laugh and amused me afterwards, and that was just part of his personality, I guess. That's the kind of person he is. I mean, I think this centre, Embrace Arts, which was originally you know, set up and spearheaded by him, I think has made continues to make a fantastic contribution to the community in Leicester. So when you think about an arts centre that opens up the university and the world of the arts to a whole range of people who might not otherwise have that opportunity, I think that's a fantastic legacy. Clearly the donation and the work at the museum is another element of that, but I guess for me the thing that I've known most about and worked most closely with is the work that's been done here, and I think that will be a legacy and is really important as part of the culture and the cultural development of the city of Leicester. I think the really interesting thing about Richard is that what you see in Richard is, on the one hand, this iconic legend, movie maker, actor, all of those things. And I think to combine with that empathy and warmth and the personality that he has is really quite unique. And that to me is what has always kind of struck me as being very special about him. He comes into the room and the room lights up. He loves people and people love him. I think that's the way he is, isn't it?